Doctor, my eyes have seen the years and the slow parade of fears without crying. Now I want to understand. I have done all that I could to see the evil and the good without hiding. You must help me if you can.
All right, well, good morning, everybody. After some excitement, trying to get our computers talking to each other, we're okay. We can do the talking, but our computers weren't. So Sandra's very kindly taken over being host for this session. So good morning, Sandra.
Hi, Sue. we've had a rocky start, but here we are.
Has been, yes. Old dog, new tricks. Well, that certainly works in my situation. So thank you for that. So good morning, everyone. Here we are with another community chat. My name's Sue Carter, and today I'm talking with one of our more recent members, and Sandra Mackay. So good morning, Sandra.
Good morning.
Thank you again. So how did you hear about New Horizons Shire Band?
Well, strangely, really, because I was watching a documentary on one of these streaming services, and it was about people who have perhaps played music when they're children and then dropped out, or people. Some people do that. Some people kept on throughout their life, and then they talked about people coming back when they're older to music, which was the case for me. And then it was an American documentary, and then they started talking about the New Horizons movement. And at the end of it, they said they had branches in however many countries. And when I finished watching it, I thought, and I just, out of curiosity, had a look on the iPad and saw that there was one in Sutherland. And I thought, that's interesting. And at first I thought, Sutherland, that's a bit far away. But as it, then I had a look and I saw it was in the daytime, and I thought, that sounds good because I'm more of a daytime person than a nighttime person. And I messaged the Facebook page. So that's how.
Fantastic. So and how long ago was that?
Well, it wasn't that long ago. It was really, I think it was probably towards the end of 2019, maybe like the last term of that, just before all the beginning of all the, disruptions in the following year.
Right. Fantastic. And you play what instrument?
Well, in the band I play clarinet, in group 3, and in the blues.
Right. And you play other instruments?
Yes, I do. Too many in a way. So if I focused on one or two, I'd be better at them. But I play clarinet in this band and in the Inner West band, and I play a piano accordion in the Accordion Society's band, which we call Accordions al Fresco, and I also play mandolin with anybody who play with me. And I in the last couple of years I've been trying pretty hard to learn violin, not so much to play anything classical, but more as like fiddle for sort of folk style. And but I play a bit of guitar, not very well, but I think that's probably the main ones. And piano, I can play a bit of piano. Yeah.
Well, you don't have much time for fitting anything else in your life by the sound of that, with practicing all of those instruments.
I don't practice any of them as much as I should, but I do practice, but it depends. Like currently, I practice the violin more than anything else because that's the newest one,
Oh, lovely. Did you play as a child?
I played like a lot of people. We were sent to piano lessons as kids, but that was back in the time when my mother played piano a bit. We always had a piano in the house. They loved music. They were Scottish sort of diaspora, and so we grew up with people playing the piano, whether it was them or, other family and members and things. But when we went to lessons, particularly me, because I was the older of the two siblings, it was when teachers they were pretty tough, you know, the woman that we went to was like a real old dragon lady, you know, and she used to, if you didn't get it right, she'd just whack you with the ruler, you know, or she would commonly, what she would do is you know, you have to have your hands up high, so she'd whack your hand up, or yeah, she was pretty tough, you know, but you know, I don't know, everyone just accepted that then, didn't we? You know, you got hit at school, so the fact you got hit in piano didn't really bother you, you know. But yeah, so I did piano, and of course, like everybody of our kind of era, recorder at school, you know. But then I stopped when I was, you know, in my teens, and didn't really do much of it for a long time.
Right. Fantastic. Yes, I had that sort of experience with ballet. That was what I was learning as a youngster. And there you had the same sort of treatment too. You know, sometimes a bit of verbal abuse, but yeah, so Hazel Meldrum was my dance teacher, and she was a dragon. She was a professional dancer and choreographer. So yes, we suffered a lot, but she achieved a lot, and some very successful. Nancy Hayes is one of her students. She was a couple of years behind me. So you know, she got some of the girls into professional careers with dance. So it must have worked. So, what's your favourite musical experience? What does music mean to you?
Well, I love music. I can't understand why for a long period in my life I didn't get into playing music, but but I've always loved listening to music and live music, and I really think for me music's kind of like, it's sort of in this secular age, it's one of those things that's kind of transcendent, you know, like you can really have those, either listening or playing with other people, you can have that real moments of that real happiness and, you know, kind of joy. And yeah, I really like music, and I know that some people don't, but I kind of can't understand how that can be true, you know.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
and like certainly now, since I don't work anymore, really it is one way or another almost all that I do, you know.
Yes. And I think with COVID, people are exploring their musical histories a lot more, going back and delving into music that they loved as a child and as an adult, and the way their musical tastes changed. And people have got more time to listen to music now. You know, a lot of people are posting their favourite songs or something they discovered and putting in a YouTube clip. So we're all learning a lot more about music, which is wonderful. So do you have a favourite kind of music, a favourite genre?
Well, I think if I had to pick one favorite genre, I would have to say folk, because folk is like, it's such a broad kind of genre in anyway. But yeah, I would say folk because I love the idea of it's I like, you know, I kind of, because in the sort of 1970s I was involved in the women's movement, of social justice movements, and I kind of, I like that accessibility of it, and that everyone can participate in it. And, you know, so I'd probably say folk, particularly like Celtic or bluegrass. I like both of them. Yeah. But no, I really like, I mean, I guess I do like the upbeat ones too, but I like a ballad, and, you know, I kind of like the sad songs, you know. Mm.
The more reflective ones.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Have you seen any of those live performances with the folk music?
When I can, I go to folk festivals regularly, and I've certainly been to a lot of the concerts of people like, you know, Joan Baez and Leonard Cohen, and you know, all those kind of that older one. I mean, you know, there's other people that I like too, but those kind of iconic ones, I've seen a few of them, but I also seen a lot of kind of obscure ones in little festivals in places and things like that. But you know, I like to go to anything like that.
Fantastic. Yes. And what would be your favourite experience with the band?
I know that, like, of course, it was lovely going on the trip. That was really nice. I've only been able to go on one, you know, the one we've just, well, not just had, but had earlier this year. And I did love, you know, I love that kind of, I love the atmosphere and everyone sitting around and enjoying themselves together. And But really, I just love the whole kind of way that of being at the rehearsals and the inclusivity of it, and the way that everyone's accepted and encouraged, to develop. I just think it's, I suppose, because most of us in the band are older, it's nice to be in an environment where we're not really constrained by our age, because we're not perceived as older. Like in the Inner West band, I'd be one of the older people in the band, and I guess people, not in a negative way, but they see you as such. Whereas I feel like at New Horizons, you don't have, there's no constraint of age, and I like that. Yeah, it's kind of nice. But really, I do like the rehearsals, and the performances are nice because everyone feels proud if they've tried and stuff. But basically, I just like that feeling of everyone coming together and enjoying something and trying hard and working together and treating each other with respect.
Yes, very important. Yes, there are no egos in the group, are there? That we're all at the same emotional level.
Yeah, well, that's right. And some of the people in the group clearly are better players than others, but nobody cares about that, and that's great. That's great.
And what about out of the band? What would be one of some of your favourite musical experiences outside band environment?
Well, I've had some lovely times at folk festivals, as I mentioned, like really lovely, like the one in Canberra, that the National Folk Festival. They call it 5 days in a perfect world, and that's the sort of byline of it. And that's how I feel about it. It's like you enter into this sort of perfect world where everyone's there for music, nothing else matters. So that would be that I have had that experience at folk festivals. But probably if I pick one thing, I'd say I've had some really great times with the accordion group, because the accordion group is very much like our group. Everyone really looks after each other, and it's about the people more than the music. But we went. Well, it would have been, I guess it was 2019. We went up to rural Queensland, about 100, and we went to a tiny little town called McLagan, which is about 100 k's west of Toowoomba, and yeah, I know, it was a long way out, and we all went. I think about at least 12 of us players went, and our other friends came along with us, and we did a concert in Toowoomba, and then we went out to McLagan because it was during the drought, and so everyone, it was really hard times out there at that time, and they have this little festival out there called the McLagan Squeezebox Festival, because they have a strong kind of German heritage in that area, and so they'd been accordion players in the past. Anyway, somehow we got involved and we went up there, and it was just the greatest experience. So there was, in the daytime, there was like concert, and all different people of different levels would get up and play the accordion. And because, they'd never had any big group like that certainly not from Sydney before, and well, how many big accordion groups are there, I suppose, but so we went up there and we were like rock stars, we got there at 9 o'clock in the morning. We watched the concert, we played in the concert, we stayed there at night, and then at night time they had a dance, and people went home to their farms and got changed and came back ready for this dance, and we were to play at the dance, and we were all right, okay, we'll play these sort of things. But then they put up this board with all these what dances they were going to do, like whether it be Pride of Erin and this and that, and then they just looked to us to play for that. Well, we didn't have a clue, we were all sort of saying to each other, is it Pride of Erin 3/4 or 4/4, what is it, but we had the most wonderful time there. And the local women from the local church made all the meals, and there was like several hundred people there, and well, we sold 96 CDs, and we never sell more than 8 or so CDs. So it was a great experience. And They were so lovely and so appreciative that we'd come, you know, because it was a big
Yeah,
effort to get us all up there.
absolutely.
Yeah, well, so that was
Yeah.
a great experience.
So, what's your greatest challenge with music? Fitting in at rehearsal and practice would probably be my guess, but your challenges with your music.
Yeah, that's it. Being, because I love music. I get distracted and I think, oh, I'll have a go at that or I'll have a go at this, but focusing and like on technical, developing technical competence. No, I don't. You know, I jump from this to that and the other thing. I have to try and really, you know, make myself focus. But I don't care too much because I just want to participate. I don't have any designs of being a solo artist or being, you know, the best player in the world, luckily. But you know, so I think practice, yeah, and also you know, if I do have to play by myself, I I can feel quite nervous, you know, about like to play alone without. If I'm playing with other people, I don't mind, you know, but I like just feeling confident to do that. If you've got a little solo bit or something, I still find that a bit hard at times, you know. So, but yeah, practice is the big one.
Right. I think it's good to be challenged and to, you know, with those solo pieces, just to get that tremble of terror that they starts to bring up in you. So I think that's always good to take it to the next level, as the kids like to say. So, and what do you find the benefits of music are?
Well, I mean, I think many, you know, like obviously there's the benefit of the kind of intellectual and challenge of, you know, keep working out what's going on and the theory and all that side of it. But also there's that sort of, you know, great emotional benefit because, you know, that you feel so good when you achieve something and you can play something that you couldn't play before, or, you know, like with the violin, oh my gosh, the first few months it was just diabolical, you know, and just that idea of persevering and, you know, it does make you persevere with things. Yeah, a big emotional benefit, and of course the flow on, for me, the flow on sort of social benefit of
So,
work, shared endeavour is you know, I really like that part of it. That's a big benefit for me because I think it's really great to do things with other people rather than just socialize. You know, like I like that. I like that a lot.
so do you have any other interests other than the music? What do you do in your spare time? Well, in your habit.
Well, you know, in thinking about it, I thought not as many perhaps other interests as I should. I don't know, but I do find that because particularly with the accordion group, because I'm on the committee and I'm the secretary, I do a lot of. There's a certain amount of kind of work that's associated with music, but it's not actually the playing with music. You know, like organising trips and organising events, and you know, trying to get funding and you know all those kind of things. So I do spend a bit of time on that. But probably my main kind of activity is I don't play sport or you know that kind of thing, but I as I was mentioned to you before, I do walk a lot, you know, and I like walking and I like to I walk for a couple of hours every day, and whenever I go anywhere, that's kind of how I see a place is to walk around it, you know. So I spend a bit, you know, sort of walk for a couple of hours every day, and other than that, really just you know, just kind of reading or you know being interested in things like politics and so on. But I don't, you know, I don't make things like I'm not, you know, much of you know, I don't knit or sew or do. Oh, I can knit, but I don't really do a lot of that kind of thing these days. But because I am involved in quite a few different aspects of music, I find that yeah, that's my main interest nowadays.
Mm. Well, I would imagine with walking a couple of hours a day, and then just house things, and then practicing, your day would be very full.
Yeah, and also you've got all your social things. Normally, you've got, you know, yeah, but and of course, like you know, I like to go away, but hasn't been much of that lately.
Yes, travel. a luxury for all of us now. Yes. Anything else you'd like to add, Sandra?
No, not really. I need to say thank you for doing these interviews because I've watched them all, and I think it's nice to get to know a little bit more about each other, and very much look forward when we can get back to live interaction.
Yeah. Well, we'll all know a little bit more about each other by then. Fantastic. Well, thank you. So I'll sign off, or you'll sign off, and
All right, thank you, and
see you.
see you soon. Hey. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? How many seas must the white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? How many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years can a mountain exist before it's washed to the sea? How many years must some people exist before they're allowed to be free? And how many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times can a man look up before